Kicking off 10 minutes of global events for a global audience. I'm Carl Azus from the CNN Center. For the first time since 2004, the U.S. government is recognizing a genocide. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says the ISIS terrorist group is committing genocide, the mass murder of Christians, Shiite Muslims, and Yazidis in the nations of Iraq and Syria. The Obama administration had been criticized for its reluctance to use the term until now. On Monday, the House of Representatives passed a unanimous resolution to label some of ISIS's crimes as genocide. That vote and the administration's announcement don't require the government to take additional action against ISIS, but it could increase pressure on it to more aggressively fight the terrorists or to allow more refugees from Iraq and Syria into the U.S. This is video from 2014 on an Iraqi Air Force flight that rescued some Yazidis from a mountain in Iraq. ISIS had trapped and targeted them. An American student is now a prisoner in North Korea. 21-year-old Otto Warmbier was visiting the capital, Pyongyang, on a tour organized by a Chinese travel company. On January 2nd, he was arrested and accused of stealing a political banner from his hotel. Warmbier later admitted to the crime and said he was lured by the U.S. government to commit it. But it's possible that North Korean officials pressured him to read that statement. Warmbier was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor, a penalty that the U.S. State Department says doesn't fit the crime. Relations between the U.S. and North Korea are worse than usual, partly because of North Korea's nuclear program and the international penalties for it, partly because of annual military exercises between the U.S. and South Korea, which the North opposes.
Warmbier was on an organized tour when he was detained by the North Koreans on January 2nd. What are the conditions he'll be facing?
He may be forced to work in agriculture, as it happened with other American prisoners. He may spend his days planting apple trees, for example. It will be fairly grueling forced labor. It is very likely that he will be interrogated by agents of the State Security Department.
Human rights groups say similar conditions were experienced by American missionary Kenneth Bae, who was held in North Korea for about 2 years. U.S. officials tell CNN they're working to secure his release and are urging Kim Jong-un's regime to pardon the young American. Kenneth Bae and another American, Matthew Todd Miller, had also been accused of perpetrating hostile acts against Kim's regime. They were given long sentences of hard labor, but released much earlier.
Based on previous such instances, I would say that Otto Warmbier would stand a fair chance of being released after about 6 months since his arrest.
SeaWorld says its current generation of killer whales will be the last one at its water parks. The organization has kept and bred these mammals for decades, but it announced yesterday that the program was ending. The company's CEO calls SeaWorld's situation a paradox. He says that customers come to the parks, in part, to watch orcas, but that there's a growing number of people who believe that killer whales don't belong in human care. People for the ethical treatment of animals said that SeaWorld had taken a step forward, but that it didn't go far enough, that it should send many of its other animals to ocean sanctuaries. As for the orcas that are currently in SeaWorld, the company says they'll be there for years to come and get the highest quality care. We love seeing who's watching our show from around the world. On yesterday's transcript page at cnnstudentnews.com, we heard from Sune Middle School. It's in Songnam City, South Korea. Hello to everyone watching there. Next to Rochester, in western New York, the Trojans are with us from Grace Athena High School. And in La Habra, California, hello to the Raiders. Happy to have Sonora High School rounding out our roll. Up next, what could be a significant step forward in protecting motorcycle racers or downhill skiers. It's a sort of wearable airbag system, a jacket that rapidly inflates in several places to cushion a sudden fall. But it's not cheap. While a padded motorcycle jacket can cost a couple $100, the one you're about to see goes for over $1,000.
We're progressing and making sports safer and safer. Safety is usually not cool, right? But you can hide it. Since we introduced our airbag system, things have really gone through the roof.
I never want to crash, but I did want to experience the airbag, and the first time I did, it was impressive because it all happened in a split second. By the time I was off the bike and onto the floor, I don't think I had enough time to even blink my eye, but the computer itself deployed the airbags.
So the bag is hidden within the jacket, and it covers mainly the shoulders, the torso, and around the body till the back protector. The sensors are all self-contained in the back protector. It's 3 gyroscopes and 3 accelerometers and 1 GPS. It's an algorithm that has been developed. Once the system has detected a crash, it takes only 25 to 30 milliseconds for the bag to fully inflate and go off. So it's actually 10 times faster than the blink of an eye.
3, 2, 1.
We have been collecting data since 2011 for skiing. Unlike motorcycling, you spend a lot of time in the air. It was important for us to change the algorithm so that it can recognize when it's time to really go off, and it was actually just a regular jump.
When your gear saves you from an injury, that's a huge plus because you make it to the next race. Your career can be stretched to another 5 years if you don't tear a rotator cuff or any other type of injury. I think eventually the gear's going to be so good that people almost never get hurt.
Our vision is in 5-10 years from now that every motorcyclist on the street will wear an airbag. People have a life, they have a job, they have a family, so while they do their sports they want to feel safer and they want to be able to come back on Monday and go back to work and provide for the family. We're thinking also about other applications of the deer. This is just the beginning.
What does the fox say might be the wrong question? Maybe it should be, what makes the fox laugh? Archer the Arctic fox is a pet in the U.S. state of Michigan. This Vine video of him laughing on command has been viewed tens of millions of times. Guess the animal likes being foxicious. Maybe he'd prefer the term foxical. Would you call this a guffox? Hey, at least someone's laughing at our puns. He doesn't find them sly-fless. He'd probably call them cunning, and with his support, we'd never be outfoxed. I'm Carl Azuz with some Fox News on CNN. Fridays are awesome.